How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about SOFI. It had a pullback on the Friday. I was telling you guys to look out for those key levels to the downside. And yes, we ended up actually getting to those levels. And many are asking me, do I see some more pressure for this week? So we'll talk about it further in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for SOFI. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $8.55, being down 9.14%. On the low, it tested $8.52, and then on the high, testing $9.54. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you could see we traded at 71.568 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 73.231 million shares. So just a little bit below the average in regards to volume, but you can see we had a good amount of selling pressure in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 32.39. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. So it is very clear to see that SOFI is in a bear market, trading below all of her major moving averages. And another thing that I want to bring to your concern, as far as where you can see with the sell-off and by this red candle here, we have no other support areas that we could use as historical reference. So what this means, do not be shocked if you see SOFI trading around $7 for the coming week. And I'm not saying $7 on the dot here. It could be in the high sevens or even in the mid sevens. Like I said, this selling pressure is definitely not a good sign whatsoever, but it does provide an opportunity for any long-term investors who are interested in this play. You could also use dollar cost averaging. There's no reason why you should be just loading up at this level in the mid eights. I did call it out that this stock was going to get down to this level, but at the same time, you want to make sure you're not in the middle of a falling knife. So if you are going to be adding, you could just add a little bit, because I do see this stock getting back down here to at least $8 before it makes a move up. But like I said, I'm seeing the sevens happening for this week. Now, if you're looking for a bullish reversal out of SOFI, it's going to have to come back to at least reclaim $10 and then make that move to around $10.70 and then see if it can get back up to $12. That's where I can start saying, well, you know what, things are turning around for this play and we have some more upside here for the short to medium term. But for now, as long as we have selling pressure inside of these markets, SOFI is going to continue its downtrend. Let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for SOFI. As we scroll down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we see a recent filing we have here for March the 10th, we have Comprehensive Financial Consultants Institutional Inc. that purchased 620 shares. And then for March the 4th, we have DCM International VI Limited that purchased just over 11.7 million shares. And then when we take a look at our graph here to see how institutions have been loading up, and you can see as far as for the latest, institutions have been taking advantage of the dip. And now when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 43.97%. 1%. And then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 15.23 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 950,000, updated 11 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 1.96%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we could see for the close of the 10th, it was at 45.95. And then for the close of the 11th, being at 43.97. So what this shows us, SOFI does continue to have short squeeze potential. So now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for SOFI. So we see on the inflow, it was at 116, and then on the outflow, it was at 125. So we had an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 68.90, and then on the small, it was 47.20. Taking a look at the outflow side on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 75.57, and then on the small, it was 49.03. Keep in mind, these numbers are in the millions. Taking a look at the large-scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for March the 11th, we had 0, but we did have 2 big inflow days on the 10th and as well as on the 9th. And respectively of both, we had 1.7 million and as well as 3.37 million. So pretty good when we take a look at the large-scale orders in the past 5 days. And then when we analyze the numbers even further for the small-scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, that's where we had 0 on both sides. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 8.64%. So this is up there for a stock like SOFI, but I'm not surprised. We ended up breaking through the 52-week low, and right now, as far as the chart is concerned, it is looking very bearish. And if we take into consideration market conditions, there's no surprise why retail is selling out. So let's get into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for SOFI, for the latest news that came out, we have the CEO, Anthony Noto, that purchased just over 15,000 shares at $9.73. And if we take a look at what the price is right now, that's why I'm saying, you know what? There's a lot of opportunity here. The CEO obviously believes in the company for him to make that purchase. He sees some upside. And I, for myself, I do see upside in SOFI, especially if you're looking at the long-term prospects. Yes, as far as for the technicals, there is no bottom in sight whatsoever. So there's a good chance this stock can go down to $8. And if it breaks through $8, we could start seeing the mid $7 range. So I'm calling it around $7.50. And then we could do another video and revise from there. But that's just from what I'm seeing. But I'm definitely liking this dip because I have been adding a little bit. Again, I'm not going in heavy because I don't want to be in the middle of a falling knife. I want to be able to take advantage of those dips and make sure I have enough cash on the side to do that, especially when it comes allocating it to a certain stock. You want to make sure you're managing your portfolio well. You don't need to YOLO your whole portfolio in one stock. I want to make sure I emphasize it. But if we want to see some sort of a turnaround from SOFI, it needs to get back above $10. Let's be real. And the moment we can get it back above $10, then we want to see a move going to 12, and then it could start looking very interesting from there. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we could see institutions are continuing to load up on shares. Plus, on top of that, SOFI does have short squeeze potential. But if you've been in SOFI long enough, this should not be surprising whatsoever. And it's part of the reasons why you want to keep it on your watch list. And you also want to make sure that you're watching the market as a whole, most specifically the tech sector. SOFI moves alongside with it. So the moment we start seeing a reversal and a turnaround, I'm expecting SOFI to go up. And that's why I do believe in the long-term prospects, and this stock will pick back up. If you are inside of this play, I highly suggest you do your homework and you do your due diligence. Just don't watch my videos and go out and buy a stock, because over here, I do not give out financial advice. You want to make sure you're doing a well-informed research. This is very important because you're putting your hard-earned money into the play. Again, this is for my investors. And as far as for my traders, you want to look for a clear reversal if you're going to be going on the bullish side of this stock. So if you're going to be playing options and you're going to be going in with calls, you want to see some strength at a support level. You just don't want to go in right at market open and say, well, you know, I think the stock is going to go up, so I'm going to buy some calls. It doesn't work that way. Right now, puts have been printing very well since we've been seeing a lot of weakness in the market. So there might be an opportunity for you to take advantage of puts if we continue to see some selling pressure, especially in a volatile week that we have coming up. We have the quad witching day, which is on the Friday, and then we also have the Fed meeting as well as for Wednesday and Thursday. So this is part of the reasons why you want to exercise some patience and make sure you wait for confirmation before making any decision for all of my traders out there. But for my long-term investors, if you want to be patient and see how this week plays out, that is perfectly fine. But I know many of you have a lot of high conviction and you've been waiting for SoFi to get to this price point, especially since I've been talking about it for quite some time on this channel while still dealing with all the haters and so forth. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let's see how SoFi performs for this coming week. We'll talk soon.